that protects the Ohioans who are most vulnerable and invests in education for future economic growth. But my budget does more. My budget also builds on our efforts of the past 2 years to systematically reduce the size of state government and reduce spending to ensure long-term sustainability. I have proposed to structurally reform state spending, which, if the legislature agrees to enact, will significantly change the spending assumptions that I assume the auditor shared with selected reporters yesterday. The auditor's spending assumptions don't take those structural spending reforms into account. And they don't take into account the way we have worked to aggressively and responsibly manage the difficult budget circumstances of the past 2 years. Even though, as I have shared with you before, the best predictor of future behavior is past behavior. Considering this, it appears that Auditor Taylor and legislative Republicans are on the sidelines, lobbying criticisms about future budgets because they offer no real ideas to address the current challenges before us. I believe that Ohio leaders have a responsibility to say what they would do, not just what they oppose. I welcome good ideas. I will engage in good faith with anyone who is willing to sit with me and work together to solve the problems facing our state. So having shared those thoughts with you, I will accept any questions that you may have.
What did you hear out of Detroit today?
I heard some encouraging news, and I was able to talk with leaders of the car companies about possible future investments in Ohio. I also had the opportunity to talk with them about the challenges they face and how those challenges could impact Ohio.
What sort of possible future investments were they discussing?
Well, because they have not yet been announced, we talked about some interest that they may have in investing in Ohio in the future, and I think I probably shouldn't be more specific than that. But as I said, we also talked about the challenges that Ohio is facing as a result of the difficulties the auto companies are having. We talked about some specific locations in Ohio. The various car companies have different problems to face. Our first meeting this morning was with Chrysler, and Chrysler has 14 days remaining to complete a lot of work involving their possible merger with Fiat, involving their working out arrangements with the unionized workforce, and involving their coming to terms with the banking community. So not a lot of time remains before they reach that deadline. The GM's facing a different set of circumstances because they were given 60 days to work out a viable plan, and they seem confident that they will be able to accomplish that. Members of the administration from the Treasury Department are on site working with GM, so that as they develop their plan, there will be continuous and ongoing interaction with the administration, which they think will enable them to come to a conclusion that is acceptable to the administration. And then Ford, as you know, has not asked for federal TARP money, and is doing some interesting things. I was able to drive one of their new cars that will be available next year. That is a fuel-efficient vehicle using what they call eco charge, I believe, rather than turbocharge. But they think it's a vehicle that holds great promise for them. I received assurance from GM that the Cruise automobile will in fact be built in Youngstown. There is no change in those plans. And that will certainly happen, according to them. They were a little surprised that I asked them to once again confirm that for me. But they are now building the Cruise in 2 other countries that will begin production of the Cruise, I believe, in the spring of next year in this country.
After talking with the Big Three, how confident are you about current levels of employment throughout Ohio and current production throughout Ohio?
Well, I'll tell you what they assured me, that they would be making no changes in their Ohio operations without certainly talking with us and giving us a heads up. I certainly thank them for that. I think all 3 companies understand the importance of Ohio to their future, and so it was a good day. I left Detroit feeling that we were very warmly, even enthusiastically received. They appreciate the fact that we are coming to Detroit on a regular basis. The Lieutenant Governor and I made a commitment that one or both of us would visit Detroit at least 4 times per year, and we have, I believe, maintained that commitment, and they seem very pleased about that.
Who did you meet with at each level, at each company?
I'll give you the names. I met with the CEO, Alan Mulla. I'm not sure how to pronounce the last name, but the CEO of Ford, who is a delightful person and very good friends with my good friend Dick Gephardt. Then I met with the new leadership at GM. As you know, Mr. Wagner is no longer there, Rick Wagner, and so his replacement was there in the meeting.
Fritz.
Is it
Fritz?
Is it Fritz?
Fritz. The new guy.
Yeah, I'll give you a list. It's on my schedule in my office. And at Chrysler, we did not meet with the CEO. We met with a couple of senior vice presidents.